How we doing, Coach?
We're great.
Wanted to start by asking just at the safety position, where do you kind of feel like you guys are, and do you feel like you're kind of settled in that next guy behind Jamie and RJ?
Yeah, I think right now it's a collaboration of guys fighting for that spot, and right now we had to play a ball game today. It'll be a Jalen Dickerson, Shiloh Sanders, those guys running in. Israel been repping a little bit at safety also, so we're still trying to finalize exactly where everyone's going to be. But those guys will be in the rotation, and I feel good about all those guys playing that position.
David?
Hey, Peter, I just wanted to talk with you about Ernest. First of all, if you guys were playing tomorrow, would he still be starting?
Oh yeah, right now, and again, Ernest, Damani, Sherrod. So those guys, we're still battling a couple of spots out, making it out. But for the most part, Ernest, he's back 100%. He's rolling with us, so he's doing a great job. So right now it's a good competition in that room, and how we kind of deemed it to those guys was, whoever practiced the best that week, those are guys that'll go out and start. But those guys, I feel comfortable about them. All three of those guys starting and doing what they need to do.
And also, too, with Ernest, considering how much time he missed, how much confidence does it give you guys as a defensive staff to know he can miss all that time and still go back in there just like he didn't miss a day?
Yeah, he's been doing a good job. When he had the deal, when he started getting into playing, he was out there doing walkthroughs. So we were comfortable that he knows what to do schematically, and he's a very intelligent guy anyway. But he's done a good job of losing weight, and he's in shape, and he's running good. So he got to continue to keep coming on. But right now he's a guy that we trust at the position. He got a lot of reps, and so I feel good about that. And we ain't changing too much. So he kind of understands what we want to do and what we want to get accomplished.
Ben?
When you have a pair of cornerbacks with the abilities that your guys have, how much more and what different kinds of stuff does that allow you guys to do schematically from a defensive perspective?
Um, when you get guys that got length like Izzy and JC, I mean, it obviously will give you a chance to play a little more man to man, a little more bump and run. Those guys excel at things like that, but those guys got to continue to keep developing. And like I tell them all the time, they got a long way to go. I know you guys, think they're the best thing since sliced bread, and they have the potential to be really good players. They really do, but they got a lot of work to do to get to that level, and they got to put it out on game day. And that's the one thing that I kind of talk to those guys about all the time. Don't block out all the outside noise, and let's concentrate on technique. Let's concentrate on your performance each and every day, and then that'll transfer to the ball game. And those guys will definitely do that. They're intelligent guys. They're good people, and they're going to work at it, and they'll be successful because of that.
Go to Joe Gorchow.
Coach, just curious, how has Huntley's progression been, and could you see him being somewhat of a factor in getting reps in week one on that defensive line?
Alex Huntley, Boogie. He's doing a good job for us. He missed a little bit of time, but he's back and he's rolling, and I think that's gonna really, he'll have a chance. Right now, you look at the combination of guys inside from Kier, you look at Jabari Ellis, you look at Zach Pickens, you look at Ricky Sandage, and then now that next, fifth defensive tackle that's coming in that's going to be able to help us. It's a battle between him. It's a battle between MJ Webb, and it's a battle between Micaiah Scott. So we got some guys that's battling at that position, and one of those guys, whichever one can learn it the quickest and understand what we're doing the best, and that guy will be the fifth D tackle for us, and we'll kind of roll that way.
John Whittle?
How is Jamar Brown right now? Is he going to be ready physically to play against Tennessee, do you feel like? And
We're trying to get him.
before we went down, where was he how is he progressing at that safety spot?
Yeah, we're trying to get him ready. I'm not ready to rule him out right now. He's out there. We got to continue to work through a couple of things, but he's playing a bunch of different spots for us, whether it was dime linebacker, whether it was back deep at safety. So he's a guy that can help. Will he play? I don't know that quite yet. I would say he's right there on the cusp of being able to play, and if not, then have to play the next week. So we're kind of right there in the waiting pattern for that. But he's a guy that gives us some physicality back deep, which we're going to need to stop the runs and different things like that. He'll be more of a guy that's in the box, fitting the runs more so than the guys that's always in the deep part of the field, playing against deep balls and stuff like that. So the little bit of time he did miss, hurt him a little bit just with the familiarity of the position. It's a little different when you back up from the ball as far as to being in the box all the time because he'll have to do some things back deep. So, we got to continue to get him the reps so he feel comfortable, and we'll do that, and then we'll kind of make a decision from there.
If you had to ballpark it, how many snaps a game would you say that a dime plays for you?
You'll look at right now when you just say a true dime linebacker or a dime defensive back, you want to look at that on third downs only. That won't be something that we'll be playing a bunch of, on first and second downs when it's either or downs. We're thinking more pass situations. So I would say somewhere in the realm of 12 to 14 snaps a game at the position of a dime DB. Now, we also call our dime linebacker in nickel, which is Sherrod when we in 11 personnel. That's a dime, and they'll play 70% of the time. So just different ways of categorizing that position.
David?
Rob, is Jordan Birch on your two deep right now?
Yeah, right now he's working hard to do a couple of things. He missed a little bit of time, but he's back, and I think he'll be able to help us. Right now, you just look at the buck position. You look at JJ and Barre, and then we're borrowing from the buck position Brad, and he's playing some Sam for us, which gives Jordan an opportunity to go do it. And he's going to have an opportunity to do it. He just got to continue to get the reps and feel comfortable. We'll have a condensed play sheet when he's in to help him out on some of the things that we're doing. We won't ask him to do a bunch. We'll ask him to strike blocks and play fast. And I think that'll help him out when we start locking in more on exactly his role for the football team early in the year.
Ben?
I wanted to ask about JJ. Was there sort of an adapting process to getting used to playing in the kind of space that sometimes the Bucks play? Obviously, usually they're on the end, but sometimes you get them behind the line or that kind of thing.
Yeah, I would say this. We probably played him out of position before this. We just felt so good about, Dennis wanting him and different things like that because he's really a good athlete and he can do that stuff easily. So he's more comfortable doing that than he is doing the six technique and all the different stuff like that. He just plays in space better. He's good with his hands. He can move his hands and his feet at the same time, and he really got some decent, pass dropping skills. To my surprise, to be honest with you, but he's doing a really good job of it. He got to continue to come. We're gonna need him to be a good player for us.
Any other questions for T-Rob? Seeing none? All right. I think that's it.
All right, fellas, y'all
Appreciate
take
it.
it easy.